Hey everybody, it's Tim Miller from the Bulwark. It is Friday night, and I'm here with you because our clown Congress has put on its face makeup and waited till the last second on a Friday evening to confirm the most preposterous cabinet nominee in, I want to say, American history, certainly in my lifetime. We now have a weekend talk show host, a weekend talk show co-host as the Secretary of Defense in our idiocracy. There's a lot of drama over on the Hill. There were some rumors going around that Pete Hegseth might not actually get confirmed today. Tom Tillis, Republican senator of North Carolina, had expressed some concerns about the sworn affidavits regarding Pete Hegseth's treatment of women, his drunkenness, his just horrific judgment that he's demonstrated in his personal life. Judgment that, as you might remember, included having to finalize a settlement. We learned recently a $50,000 settlement with a woman who accused him of sexual assault while he was at a Republican function at a hotel in California. Where he was drinking, and as the story goes, as he tells the story, he brought a woman back to a married woman to her hotel room to have consensual sex with her while he was still married to his second wife, and while his now current wife, his third wife, was at home with their 2-month-old child. So that was his story. He also shouted down a hotel staffer around 1 a.m. during that exchange. So that's the guy that is running the Pentagon now. Lost my train of thought there. Circling back to Tom Tillis. So anyway, Tom Tillis, had he decided to go against Hegseth might have gone down because you needed 4 Republican no votes. Susan Collins of Maine and Lisa Murkowski of Alaska had been on the record before tonight saying that they were going to vote against Hegseth. So that took the total number of votes to 51. There were strong rumors that Mitch McConnell was going to vote against Pete Hegseth. He did, which took the number down to 50. So there needed to be one more Republican no vote. The rumors going around were Tom Tillis, but Tom Tillis has a big election coming up next year. Next year, 2026. There's some discussions that MAGA might challenge him if he deviates from what Trump wants, and so I guess his concerns were assuaged regarding Hegseth, and Hegseth's spin was to Tillis more compelling because of his motivated reasoning than the affidavits that were filed by multiple women. And I should throw out there the email that his mother sent him, calling him an abuser of women. So that takes us to 50-50. If there's a 50-50 vote, the vice president is the tie-breaking vote. In this case, that's J.D. Vance. J.D. is headed to the Senate as I tape this right now to be the tie-breaking vote. I want to put some context in here just about how silly this is. Not just related to Pete himself. I kind of want to take Pete out of it for a second. But the Secretary of Defense is not like some of these other political roles in government. It's not like, confirming a circuit court judge, who could be overruled by the Supreme Court if they turned out to be, not unserious or, too biased, too partisan. It's not like confirming, a staff or some type of staffer inside the government or inside of, one of the departments that has, more political leanings. Like obviously there are going to be, very deep philosophical disagreements between the party on the scope of the Environmental Protection Agency. I wouldn't expect too many Democratic votes for a Republican EPA pick or vice versa. The Defense Department isn't like that, right? Like the Secretary of Defense is A, in charge of the largest bureaucracy in the world, and B, is in charge of being the representative of all Americans in the military, no matter their political persuasion, They are in charge of protecting this country and prioritizing its safety over any, political concerns or, over their own, ideological desires. We've had some bad defense secretaries, Rumsfeld, and we've had a couple bad defense secretaries in both parties before. But we've always had defense secretaries that were generally considered across partisan lines to be serious people, to be people that had a resume and a preparedness and a mindset, a temperament to do this critical job. And just kind of going through this, some of these past defense secretary confirmation votes, just to show you how out of the norm this is. Lloyd Austin, Biden's defense secretary, confirmed 93-2. Mark Esper, Trump's last defense secretary, confirmed 90-8. James Mattis, Trump's first defense secretary, confirmed 98-1. Ash Carter, Obama's 93-5. Leanne Panetta, the prior Obama defense secretary, confirmed 100-0. Bob Gates, who was defense secretary for both Bush and Obama, was confirmed 95-2. Pete Hegseth is looking down the barrel of 50-50. So just, in those kind of recent confirmations, Mark Esper with 8 no votes was the high watermark. Pete Hegseth has 50 no votes. It is fucking ludicrous to confirm a defense secretary who has unanimous opposition from the other party and opposition from within the party of the president that nominated him. So, we are going to install someone in charge of the military for whom there was bipartisan opposition against, and for whom there wasn't even a majority support for in the Senate. You could sell me on that for the Commerce Secretary of the EPA, like I said, some of these other jobs, but to jam through a plainly unqualified person that is a just utter disaster across every metric, their personal life, their management of the only 2 small organizations that they had managed before, their performance as a co-host on a morning couch show. To jam this person through on a 50-50, not even a party line vote, bipartisan against him vote, is ludicrous. It is absurd in the extreme. Any serious person could not look at this and think, this is how we should run the country. You would think that for a position as important as this, you could find somebody that would have the confidence of at least a bare majority of the United States Senate, especially considering Republicans have more than a bare majority, have a 53 vote majority in that Senate. Trump has already done this twice, Esper and Mattis, 98 and 90 votes, respectively. Instead, he's turning to the celebrity apprentice of defense secretaries. So, I don't know. Good luck, America. I think that what we know for sure will be the result of this will be something that the Republicans want, which is for federal bureaucrats and people that work inside the government, experts, people with experience to leave, because it's ridiculous to report to Pete Hegseth if you are a career military official. I'm sure many of them will go to the finer pastures of Raytheon or whatever. So I think that is an immediate impact that we're going to see. We're going to see him target certain mid-level leadership. Who knows? Maybe high-level leadership within the military. They've already, kind of previewed that. So we'll have a weekend talk show host who had allegedly some drinking problems in his past. I guess not allegedly. I guess he said that he's had drinking problems in his past. It's a sign that you It's a sign you have a big alcohol problem if you're like, I'll stop drinking if you make me the Secretary of Defense. Okay, that's going to be the line for me. I like to have a couple pops, nothing wrong with that. But, if you got to go cold turkey, not really a great sign that you got control over the problem. So, we're going to put this clown in charge of the military. Like a totally ridiculous person to be running the Pentagon. Some people will leave because of that. He will target other people, because he'll feel how's the nicest way you can put it? Threatened. I think that threatened would be a nice way to put it. Feel threatened, by somebody. He's gonna have to make a DEI pick. He's got to find the one black lesbian inside the Pentagon and make sure he gives her the axe to send a message. So, we'll see. God willing, there are no wars imminently. And if there are, hopefully there are a handful of generals who are bigger men than me who stick around, swallow their pride, and try to protect us from the Fox and Friends just buffoon who is now in charge of the Pentagon. So with that, have a good night's sleep. We'll keep monitoring this. We have a couple other good ones coming next week. We'll be live streaming right here the hearings for Kash Patel, who has the QAnon children's book. He'll be up for FBI. RFK Jr. Of bear carcass fame. He ended up with a brainworm. He'll be up for running the health department, and then we'll have Tulsi Gabbard, who's potentially is at least quite friendly with Putin. If nothing else, in charge of our national intelligence. So we'll be monitoring all three of those closely. Very much looking forward to that. And with that, sleep tight.